The Circleville Letters refer to a mysterious and unsettling case of anonymous letters sent to residents of Circleville, Ohio, starting in the late 1970s. These letters, which numbered in the hundreds, contained accusations, threats, and details about people's private lives that were highly specific, causing widespread fear in the community. The letters started in 1976 when Mary Gillespie, a local school bus driver, began receiving anonymous letters accusing her of having an affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massey. The writer demanded that she stop the affair and warned of dire consequences if she didn't. Mary wasn't the only target. Many other residents in Circleville also received similar letters, all filled with threats and allegations. The writers seemed to know intimate details of the recipients' lives, increasing anxiety in the small town. In 1977, Mary's husband, Ron Gillespie, received a phone call that allegedly revealed the identity of the letter writer. He grabbed his gun and left the house in a rage but was later found dead in his car after crashing into a tree. Although his death was ruled accidental, there was a lot of speculation that he had been murdered or forced off the road. Oddly, his gun had been fired once, though it wasn't clear at whom or why. In 1983, Mary discovered a sign along her bus route with a threatening message about her daughter. When she attempted to remove the sign, she found it was rigged with a booby trap, a gun that was supposed to fire when the sign was pulled off. Fortunately, the trap malfunctioned, and no one was injured. Investigators traced the booby trap back to Paul Freshour, Mary's brother-in-law. Freshour's gun was found to have been used in the trap, and after a handwriting analysis suggested that Freshour may have written some of the threatening letters, he was convicted of attempted murder. He was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison, but he maintained his innocence throughout the trial. Strangely, even after Freshour was incarcerated, the Circleville letters continued to be sent. Freshour himself received a letter in prison, further fueling speculation that he wasn't the true culprit. Despite this, Freshour remained in prison until his release in 1994. The case remains unsolved, with many theories about the identity of the letter writers. Many believe Freshour was involved, given the evidence against him, though the continued letters during his imprisonment complicate this theory. Some speculate that more than one person was involved in writing the letters, which would explain why the letters persisted even after Freshour's arrest. Given the intimate knowledge contained in the letters, some believe the writers had personal vendettas against the recipients, particularly the Gillespie family. Others think that the letters could have started as a hoax or prank that spiraled out of control, with multiple people joining in the campaign. Despite investigations and the passage of time, the true identity of the Circleville letter writers remains a mystery. The case has attracted significant attention, even being featured on television shows like Unsolved Mysteries in the 1990s.
Welcome to 657 Boulevard, where your dream home becomes a nightmare. The Broaddus family thought they found their forever home in the quiet town of Westfield, but soon after moving in, they began receiving chilling letters from someone known only as the Watcher. With every message more sinister than the last, the house's dark history begins to unravel. Yet the real terror lies in what or who is watching. In June 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus, along with their 3 children, bought their dream home at 657 Boulevard, Westfield, New Jersey for $1.3 million. Westfield is a quiet, affluent suburb with low crime rates, and the house itself was a 6-bedroom, beautiful property built in 1905. The Broaddus family was thrilled to move in and start a new chapter of their lives. Just days after closing on the house and beginning some renovations, they received a chilling anonymous letter addressed to the new owner. The letter was from someone who called themselves the Watcher. It read, "Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. How did you end up here? Did 657 Boulevard call to you with its force within? 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s and my father watched it in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? The letter included other unsettling details, such as references to the Broadus children asking, "Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested?" The writer appeared to know specific information about the family, such as the children's ages and the renovations they were making on the house. Over time, more letters arrived and they became increasingly threatening. The writer hinted at something malevolent hidden within the home and continued to refer to the Broadus children as young blood, even suggesting they would lure the children into the house. The watcher also expressed displeasure with the renovations, which they claimed were changing the essence of the house. The Broaduses became terrified. They contacted the police, but despite an investigation, no solid leads were found. They also hired private investigators and consulted former FBI agents, but still, no one could determine the identity of the watcher. As the letters continued, they deeply disturbed the Broadus family. Fearing for their children's safety, they decided not to move into the house. Instead, they temporarily lived with Maria's parents while trying to figure out what to do with the home. They even contemplated selling the house, but the letters continued and they felt trapped. The family attempted to sue the previous owners of the house, John and Andrea Woods, claiming they had also received a letter from the watcher just before moving out but did not disclose this to them. However, the case did not progress far in court. In 2015, the local and national media picked up the story, and it became a sensation, capturing the public's fascination. Westfield, a previously quiet town, was suddenly in the spotlight, and neighbors became suspicious of each other. Many speculated whether the letters were a hoax, perhaps even orchestrated by the Broaduses themselves, but no evidence was ever found to support that theory. The Broadus family continued to receive letters, and their attempts to sell the house were unsuccessful due to the notoriety of the watcher. They even tried to sell the home to a developer who could tear it down and build new homes, but local opposition blocked that plan. Finally, in 2019, after years of anguish and financial burden, the Broadus family sold the house at a significant loss for around $959,000. The identity of the watcher remains unknown to this day, and no one has been arrested or definitively linked to the letters. Several theories have emerged about the identity of the watcher. Some believe it could have been a neighbor with a grudge or someone envious of the family's ability to purchase such an expensive home. Others speculated it might have been someone with a deep connection to the house, possibly even a former resident or someone in the neighborhood who had an emotional attachment. Some believe the letters could have been a hoax, either by someone trying to scare the new owners for amusement or even by the Broaduses themselves, though the latter theory seems less likely considering the personal and financial toll it took on them. The story of the Watcher house was so sensational that in 2022, Netflix adapted it into a fictionalized series titled The Watcher, further cementing its place in modern American folklore. The mystery of 657 Boulevard remains unsolved, with the Watcher's identity still unknown. The case has left a lasting impression, not just on the family involved, but on everyone who followed the story.
Now step inside the Hinsdale house, where the walls whisper secrets and the shadows hold untold horrors. Once home to the unsuspecting Dandy family, this eerie farmhouse in New York harbors restless spirits, mysterious apparitions, and a dark past that even an exorcism couldn't cleanse. Can we uncover the chilling truth behind the hauntings? The Hinsdale house, also known as the Dandy house, is a reportedly haunted house located in Hinsdale, New York, and has garnered attention for its paranormal activity since the 1970s. The house was built in the 1800s, but its notoriety began when the Dandy family moved in during the early 1970s and experienced a series of unexplainable events, leading to its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the U.S. Shortly after moving in, the Dandy family, parents Phil and Clara, along with their 4 children, began experiencing strange occurrences, including disembodied voices, objects moving on their own, and eerie feelings of being watched. The activity escalated, with the family witnessing full-body apparitions, including a woman dressed in white and a faceless monk-like figure. Poltergeist activity also became common, with windows shattering and furniture moving without explanation. In 1974, the activity became so intense that a priest, Father Alphonsus Troubled, was called to perform an exorcism on the house. The exorcism temporarily quieted the hauntings but did not permanently stop them. The family eventually left the house. It's believed that the land surrounding the Hinsdale house may contribute to the paranormal activity. Some researchers have speculated that Native American burial grounds or violent events in the area's past may play a role in the hauntings. The nearby woods are said to hold negative energy, and visitors have reported strange feelings or sightings when walking through them. Paranormal investigators continue to visit the house, reporting various phenomena, including EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, unexplained shadows, and ghostly apparitions. The house is now a popular site for ghost tours and paranormal research. Some claim the spirits are of people who met tragic or violent ends on the property, while others believe they are residual hauntings, repetitions of past events trapped in time. The Hinsdale house remains a focal point for those interested in the paranormal, and its eerie history continues to captivate both locals and paranormal enthusiasts alike.